Hey listeners, Mallory Wilsey here, Chief Producer of the Enrollify Network, and I want to take just a quick moment to tell you about another show on our podcast network that I know you'll love. In Your Element, hosted by Brendan Henkel and Daniela Norden, is a podcast bridging the gap between leadership and real talk in the dynamic world of higher ed. Every episode is a deep dive into the practical side of working in higher ed, featuring real-world tips, best practices, and use cases from Element 451 users. Join our hosts as they bring on savvy IT leaders, visionary college presidents, and leading voices in the field to share their experiences and insights. From the challenges to the triumphs of higher ed, In Your Element is your source for candid discussions, innovative strategies, and the impactful use of technology, especially AI, in personalizing the student journey. You can subscribe to the show by visiting podcast.enrollify.org or by searching for In Your Element wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back to the Hidden Gem podcast. This is Maya, and I wanted to ask you, have you ever wondered what it takes to build a top-notch marketing team from scratch? Well, in today's episode, Lilian Clemente from Front Range Community College shares her journey on transforming a small 2-person team into a dynamic 12-member department in just 1 year. So stay with us to discover Lilian's approach to needs assessment, hiring talent, fostering trust, collaboration, and innovation within her team and the college community. Okay, let's get started. Welcome to The Hidden Gem, your go-to podcast that shines a spotlight on the strategic role of marketing and communications in shaping the future of community colleges. I'm your host, Maya Dimishkovich, CMO at Carroll Community College. Every week, I sit down with community college leaders and industry experts to unpack strategies that work. We'll discuss practical insights and success stories to help you elevate your institution's profile and achieve your strategic goals. Tune in to amplify your community college's success, one conversation at a time. The Hidden Gem is part of the Enrollify Network, a robust collection of podcasts designed to help higher education professionals like you grow. Explore our other shows at enrollify.org or check out some of my personal favorites linked in the show notes below. Enrollify is made possible by Element 451, the leading AI-powered all-in-one student engagement platform helping institutions create meaningful, personalized, and engaging interactions with students. Learn more at element451.com. And let's get started. Hello, this is Maya, and in today's episode, I have a very special guest. Her name is Lilian Clemente, and she is the Executive Director of Strategic Marketing Communications and Interim VP for Strategy and Innovation at Front Range Community College. She brings a wealth of experience from her previous roles, including the work at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, Arizona State University, and Northern Arizona State, where she was instrumental in shaping and executing successful marketing strategies. So welcome to the episode, Lilian.
Thank you. I'm very glad to be here with you.
I'm excited to talk to you today because you have a lot going on at your college and you have a lot of experience. But I also feel like our conversation today might make some marketers very envious because unlike you in your role, it's not very often that we get a chance to build a brand new marketing communication department from pretty much from scratch. Right? Or even hire new people. It's a luxury in the community college sector. And you got to do this in your new role. So I'm excited to talk about this because there's a lot to consider when building a team. Not only do you want it to be a centralized or decentralized function, what type of expertise do you want to bring in-house and which do you want to outsource? What should the makeup of your team be? What types of skills you're looking for? How to create a great culture? So much to talk about. So I'm very excited to see the approach you take and how you build your new team. So I want to start by asking you, when you joined FRCC about a year ago, right? Can you tell me what situation you found yourself in? What did the marketing communication function look like?
Absolutely. Yes, I joined Front Range Community College about a year ago, and the team was very small. There were 2 staff members in the team, someone focused on media relations and someone focused on web content. And it was a very small but mighty team, I must say. They really did a great job in terms of, for being a small team. When I accepted this role, I stepped into a position where the executive leadership was also being built. We had a new president that had been with the college for a little over a year. And we had new colleagues in enrollment management, and it just came together, the vision, right? I really understood the vision our president had to take our college to the next level. And that made it very clear to me that that was a huge opportunity in terms of building a award-winning team, a team that would really support all the amazing things Front Range Community College is doing in the academics, in the student success world, and really elevate that messaging and tell that story. So yeah, I was very excited when I joined the college.
Mm-hmm. So tell me, what steps did you take to actually execute on this vision and to start hiring new people? Did you assess the current situation? Did you talk to people? How did you decide whether you want to centralize or decentralize? Talk
Yeah.
about the steps you took.
Yeah. Assessment is a very important step, right? And I came from an institution that moved fast and was always looking forward and striving to be better. So I came in with a lot of ideas and goals to implement, but I did have to take a step back and assess the situation, assess what the college really needed in that given moment. So what I learned through that assessment, and when I say assessment, I really took the time to talk to the college community members, to talk both faculty and staff, new and more seasoned staff of the college. And so what I learned in doing that was that our marketing team was very focused externally in terms of only conducting work that had more of an external approach. And with that, they partnered with marketing agencies and leveraged those types of expertise. And what I identified was a huge gap between what the marketing team was responsible for and what they were focusing on with what the community actually needed. The community needed a department that would come in and provide support and provide guidance in terms of how to implement the brand, right? How to communicate things in a way that aligned with our core values and mission, and how the focus of our work was aligned with our strategic priorities. And so I also noticed that there was a huge opportunity to build trust with the community, with the various departments. We have 3 campuses across the Front Range. And so that was my first step to really think, okay, I need to build a team that will actually support this college community. And then from there, I identified what did I need in the team, right? What were the core areas that needed to have coverage? So from strategic communications to social media to creative services to multimedia. And eventually I also took on events, in my department. And so I identified, the level of expertise I needed for us to do the type of work that I believed would be what we needed. And came in with a proposal to my president and shared the vision. I also did an analysis in terms of return on investment. Looking at how much we were spending with external agencies and how much that would impact our salary budget. But then also did a comparison into what that meant in terms of building a brand that was recognized, and that, a team that really understood the brand, that really lived and breathed that every day, because that is the main thing when you work with an external agency versus when you have a full team in-house. Your full team is fully engaged. They are researching, they are learning about that brand, and they are incorporating that on their day-to-day work. And I was very, very lucky to have a president that saw the vision, that shared the belief in the power of marketing and how that can really be transformational in the growth of an institution. And, I had the support I needed, and here we are a year later with a full team of really great marketing creatives. So,
wow. So you hired everyone you wanted? You done?
I hired, we have 3 positions that are being posted right now during the summer. Mm-hmm. So I expect early fall that our team is going to be 100% complete. Although for the time being, right? As I'm learning, as I'm going, we're always evolving, always identifying new needs. So I can't say it's going to be complete, but for the time being, it's going to be. And, so yeah, I went from a team of 2 to a team of 12.
That's very exciting. And, it's a big growth in just a year. So what are some of the challenges you maybe identified during that time of hiring and building the team?
Yeah, I like to describe this as building a team and identifying those key positions was part of my long-term plan, right? It was that from a result of that assessment, what do I need to take from where it is right now to the next level in terms of brand recognition and trust with the college community and the community that surround us that we serve. But then I was also building the plane as I was flying. I think that was the biggest challenge because, the needs of the community of the college didn't stop for me to hire my team. So I really had to be quick in thinking, who do I know who can provide these types of services that I need now, while I take my time to plan this team out and build it out. So I actually partnered with some amazing freelancers that provided great support to us while we were building our long-term plan. And worked a little bit extra hours. I had to fill roles that would not generally be mine on a day-to-day basis, like writing a press release or creating a flyer or actually shooting a video and editing it. So I did a lot of those things myself while I was hiring those experts to help us move all of these areas forward.
Yeah, it sounds like you've been really busy last year.
Yes.
That's a lot. Especially anytime you take on a new initiative, the old initiatives never stop. So you always have to do like 2 jobs in a way. I hear a lot like people say, well, if you could build a dream team, like what are the functions, what are the skill sets and competencies would you include, especially thinking ahead, like how the field is changing really fast, higher ed is changing, how we serve the institution is also evolving. What did you prioritize? What types of skill sets and competencies? What did you look for in your team? And maybe what are the key functions that you have identified as essential to your success?
Absolutely. I really took a good look in terms of the type of needs our community had. And what it came down to was we needed a lot of design, a lot of creative design. So there were tons of graphic design requests, both for social media, both for print, both for digital, web. Also, pretty much any big initiative that we have, any big event will include some form of storytelling, some form, perhaps a press release, or perhaps a story for our blog, or perhaps, a pitch to the media. And so content development was a very big piece. Another piece that was important was the digital marketing world. So paid strategies and things like that. That was a very big one because you are investing in that and you need to see the return on investment. You need to show that the budget that you have for paid advertising actually is bringing the return. So you have to be looking at, your funnel and how your team is aligned with the enrollment management team to really nurture and help those prospective students throughout the funnel, and that they have a good experience, that they can see themselves there. So those were some of the areas that I've identified. And, another crucial piece of it, we run like a small agency inside Front Range, and requests and priorities are constant. And so how do we stay organized? How do we not miss important deadlines? How do we identify gaps in terms of the bandwidth of our team compared to the needs of our college, our leadership, and so forth? So project management was also a big one that I identified. So the areas that we built was we hired a marketing director to lead our campaigns and our paid digital strategies. The web was a big one because, we have to be aware also of the need of accessibility and all, SEO, all of those things that impact the search, that impact our visibility in the digital world. So I hired a web with a focus on user experience designer for our website. I hired a senior graphic designer, a multimedia producer to focus on videos, photography, and also podcasting. That would be something new for college. What else? A content specialist, we have a very strong content expert in our team who focuses on media relations and executive communication. But we also need that position that is a little bit more focused on various channels. So not just long format writing, but also short format for social media, and a social media position as well. So we could centralize. Social media was highly decentralized, and we are bringing that under the marketing department umbrella. So those key areas, and I did have to add a position to manage events because of it. Like I think I mentioned earlier, events became part of our purview as well. And that project manager to help keep all of those things together, implement a project management tool. We are using Rike. We are implementing Rike. I've had experience with that in previous institutions and it worked really well. So yeah, that's kind of how I went about it.
Well, from what I'm hearing, it sounds like you pretty much got all of the areas covered. I can identify what's missing. I think you did say something about a person responsible for analytics.
Yes.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah. So I do have someone that is going to her role is evolving to be a little bit more focused on digital marketing, and it's going to include email marketing, digital strategy, including analytics, and focusing a little bit more so we can be more data informed in our approach. One piece that I'm very excited about is, as I serve in this interim role of vice president for strategy and innovation, one of the areas that I will be overseeing under this interim role is the institutional research. And so looking at how the impact that area can make in the decisions we make in marketing is going to be a very exciting approach for us that has not happened too much. They've provided support before, but it was not really truly integrated. And so I'm excited to be working closely with both of these teams to identify opportunities to integrate and really help optimize our decisions and our resources.
Yeah. I think data is so important, especially like for any decision making, but also for communication purposes, highlighting the impact your institution has supported by data that we have internally in-house. I do think that's very important. We talked a little bit about building trust, and I know that's foundation of any relationship, right? Like if you don't trust each other, how can you work together? Can you talk a little bit about your approach to building those internal partnerships to help you strengthen your marketing efforts?
Absolutely. I talk to a lot of colleagues across different colleges, and some colleges have great resources and some don't have that many resources to perhaps build a team this large. And one of the things that I have also done is to look inside at what do we have in-house. And we have a multimedia graphic design program, which has incredible talent. So I started working with the program directors and the faculty members in these programs to identify opportunities to collaborate. And what ended up happening was a two-way benefit, right? It benefited our team because, we got some support in, perhaps editing a video or creating a flyer that, a department needed, but also providing that real life experience to our very own students to really see how that works, right? In a deadline driven environment with real life feedback when they provide a draft and you provide that feedback in how to better engage the brand and communicate that. So that has been a very impactful partnership that I've built with some of our faculty members. And I do see the benefit in the trust because what's happening is I'm looking at them as the experts too, right? And in this world, we need to collaborate. We need to have those conversations. And as creatives, taking that design thinking approach in our methods to come up with something great is really important, and integrating those insights from those who are actually teaching and representing our institution is very valuable. So big decisions that I have to make, I include them, I talk to them, I pick their brain. What do you think? How will this look like? How will your students feel about it? And the result of that is a strong partnership, a strong collaboration, and that I feel like it is helping the college community see the marketing department with different eyes, with a little bit more trust that we are truly there to support them and not just tell them how to implement the brand, not to just police the brand and say, this is what you can and cannot do, but really to listen to them and understand where they are coming from. And because ultimately everything we do it for the students our faculty serve and our departments serve. And so they are on the day-to-day with those students. And so what better resources to really engage and make some of those informed decisions. So it's been a great experience so far. And I only intend to expand that. This is just really the beginning. I do intend to continue building those partnerships, even outside of the creative programs that we have, other areas, health related, our SIM programs, which the SIM is the Center for Integrated Manufacturing. How can those faculty members and those leaders help inform some of the creative decisions that we make in our brand. So that's all very valuable.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they appreciate it too.
I think so. I mean, it makes sense, right? Like people like to provide input and be heard and understand where you're coming from and what your goals are, and that you're trying to collaborate and work together to achieve common goals that the institution has. But I do know for some institution, it's not as easy. And it's, because there's a lot of misconceptions about what marketing is and what we do. And it does require the building of those relationships to explain and to educate how we can be of service and how we can help other departments in what they do and how they serve students. So I think those are great examples. What are some other examples of trust building activities, maybe within your team? I know when you get a new team, how do you make sure that everyone gets together and you collaborate? And do you hold weekly meetings? What's your process?
Yeah. Yes. And I have to say, I have been very lucky because, I have sat on the search for every single one of my hires. And the reason for that is because I had a very clear vision in terms of the culture I wanted to build in our team, and a culture that is customer service oriented, and, that a culture that where they all interact and they support each other and they all have each other's back, and a culture of positivity. And so I must say that I have been very lucky because once those new team members started joining in, I could see them immediately connecting. I mean, I have one team member who sings in a choir, and another team member just recently joined that choir. I mean, it's just really great to see that. And those were really mainly through the efforts of, okay, this really having a clear picture of the culture you want to have in the team. And also when you are interviewing and searching for the right team member, going beyond just the technical skills, but also looking for some of those soft skills that is going to impact that collaboration and that culture you're trying to build. Beyond that, to continue to nurture that culture, we have weekly meetings. We have a team huddle where we talk about what is most pressing, what are some of the priorities that are coming up. We talk about the bandwidth on the team. We talk about, okay, how do we keep our stakeholders updated in terms of our timeline and how we can move this forward now, or if we have to hold. We just got through our commencement season, which was a very, very busy season. And, some of the projects we could not jump on them like really fast. So keeping that communication going. This is a meeting that takes about 60 minutes. Sometimes we could even use 90 minutes, to talk through everything. But I have a retreat planned, our very first retreat planned for the summer, where I intend to bring different components of planning and process improvement and things like that, but also cultivate the creativity in the team, learn about them as individuals and how they interact with one another and how we can best leverage everyone's skills. So we have that coming up in July. I also have one-on-ones. I think the one-on-ones are very important because, you need to open that space for them to share what they feel is going very well, but also what may not be going well and how you can adjust so they feel they are working synchronicity. And as they join the team, I have been scheduling introduction meetings for them, bringing them to different types of meetings with other members of the college so they can see how people interact. They can learn from the stakeholders they will be serving. So just really trying to cultivate that. Also being very aware of like during commencement, our team worked so many extra hours. And how am I recognizing that, right? How am I nurturing a space where they feel committed to putting in those extra hours when it's needed, when it's peak time compared, and how can I give them some time back to maybe learn something new or, kind of relax a little bit and not have to be on that rush constantly. So yeah, just being aware, being present. I really try to, my office is not in the same suite where the marketing team is. And I try to make a point of, and I'm generally like between 3 campuses traveling, but whenever I'm there, like being intentional about stopping by, checking in on them, checking what they need. I always say my job is to remove your obstacles. So you have a clear road. And so I open this space with them to come to me for whatever they need, to not hesitate to ask for my help. And also I'm never afraid of rolling up my sleeves and helping where I can help. They are the experts, but I'm there to support them. And if their plate is really full, how can I support? How can I help? And it's working. It's working really well. We just went for a happy hour, yesterday actually, and we plan on doing hikes. Now it's, beautiful weather here in Colorado after work or before work, and just having some of those opportunities for team building and for getting to know each other.
Mm-hmm. I'm so glad you mentioned self-awareness, because to me, I think that's one of the most important traits of a good leader. Because if you're not self-aware about who you are and your behavior, I don't think you can lead a team in a thoughtful way, So I think to me, that's great to hear. And I can definitely see that you take a very thoughtful approach to team development. And I can see how much you care about them.
Yeah.
And I think they see it as well. And that's what helps build this commitment and helps maybe contribute the extra hours, right, when needed, because they feel like you care as a leader.
Yeah. Oh, this is real life, right? I try to find that balance between being the leader they need in terms of being confident, making strategic decisions, helping the team move forward, advocating for them, but then also showing my vulnerable side, right? Like I'm human too. Like, there are days that, instead of getting to the office at 8 a.m., I want to jump on my bike and get some exercise in. And I tell them, hey, I'm coming into the office a little bit later today because I'm going to get some exercise in. I share with them some of my personal goals, right? And I think that helps them see that we are all in this together, right? We are one team, and whatever they may have going on, like it can be worked out, and I'm here to support them because I also recognize that, so I think finding that balance between being very professional, leading by example, and being there for them whenever they need, with like who you are, as a human being. And I think it works. It seems to work for me. So
that's great. Well, thanks for sharing this. Well, now that you have almost a full team, what are your plans for the future? What are your goals? What are you going to try to achieve in the next few years?
I'm very excited about the future. One of the biggest projects that we have coming up is our strategic plan. And as in my new interim position, I will lead that effort. We will, partner with an external expert to help actually get the work done. But, I'll be leading that piece. And what I'm very excited about is that alignment. I'm also going to be undertaking a brand perception study where I want to digging deep in understanding our audiences, not just who they are, but what make them their heart to beat a little bit faster, right? What makes a prospective student decide to come to Front Range Community College? What makes a recent alum to, be engaged in our new alumni network? And what makes a community partner talk very highly about our college and about the great work we are doing? So really understanding how they see Front Range Community College and take all that data to refresh our brand. I'm very excited about that piece. I foresee really taking our brand to the next level, building resources for our college community to utilize, having, detailed brand guides, having templates that they can use, building a platform where they can actually receive some training that are basic training that helps them implement the brand. Because even though we are a centralized marketing division, I also want to empower all of our departments to communicate that brand, both verbally and visually. And so I cannot ask them to do that without giving them the resources they need. So this is what I'm really excited about, is really taking, I think next year is going to be a year where we see Front Range elevated in the eyes of our community in terms of brand recognition, brand trust, and really that alignment with what we strive for, which is our strategic priorities. So that's the future.
Yeah, that sounds exciting. And I'm glad you mentioned strategic plan, because we are also in the process of creating our own strategic plan for the next several years. So I'll be talking to you and to check in how things are going, because I'm always looking for new ways of doing things. So maybe a strategic approach, or maybe new initiatives or processes. And, it's always exciting. And, I'm talking about this and I'm thinking that probably most of the community colleges are going to go through the same process, because most of us have a 5-year plan. So it's going to be 2025. So most will have to create a new strategic plan. So I'm excited to see what they're going to do and what you're going to do and what we're going to do. It's very exciting to see what's going to happen.
Well, I'll be very happy to talk to you about it and share all of our wins and our opportunities for growth, because I'm sure there will be lots of them. But the most important thing in this process is going to really be the engagement of everyone who makes Front Range the institution it is, right? All of those key collaborators, those key influencers, those current students, faculty, staff, legislators. My goal is for everyone who steps into Front Range or who graduates from Front Range to feel proud of being part of that community. I want everyone who works there to feel proud of working there, because their values align with the vision of the college, with the mission of the college. And we cannot do that. We cannot accomplish that without engaging them in the process. So I foresee this being a collaborative approach, and with opportunities for growth. I'm sure there will be many of them, like everything we do, right? But I'm very excited, and I'll be happy to talk to you about it. So.
Well, I'm excited for you, and I'm very proud of all the work you've been doing at Front Range. It's very exciting. And I want to thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me and to share your approach to team building, culture development, partnership creation. It's always great to see how other people approach it. So I thank you so much.
Absolutely. It was a great pleasure. And anytime, I'm really happy to be a part of this great initiative you have going on. So thank you.
I hope you enjoyed this episode and found it valuable. Let's keep this conversation going on LinkedIn at Maya Dimishkovich. I would love to hear your thoughts, questions, and suggestions for what you would like to see next on this podcast. Remember, by tuning in to The Hidden Gem, you're not just listening to a podcast, you are joining a movement of amplifying community colleges' success. Don't miss out. Subscribe to this podcast and notifications about our future episodes. Share it with your colleagues and college leaders to help make our colleges stand out. Together, let's make an impact. The Hidden Gem is part of the Enrollify podcast network. If you like this podcast, chances are you will like other Enrollify shows too. Our podcast network is growing by the month, and we've got a plethora of marketing, enrollment, and higher education technology shows that are jam-packed with stories, ideas, and frameworks, all designed to empower you to be a better higher ed professional. Our shows help higher ed marketers and admissions professionals find their next big idea and feature selection of the industry's best as your host. Learn from Jamie Hunt, Jenny Fowler, Eddie Francis, Brian Gross, and so many other of your favorite leaders in higher ed. Enrollify is made possible by Element 451, the leading AI-powered all-in-one student engagement platform helping institutions create meaningful, personalized, and engaging interactions with students. Learn more at element451.com.